The Kingdom of Kongo was a large kingdom in the western part of Central Africa. The name comes from the fact that the founders of the kingdom were Kikongo-speaking people, and the spelling of Congo with a C comes from the Portuguese translation. The kingdom was founded around 1390 CE through the practical marriage of Nima Nzima of the Mpemba Kasi and Likwini Lwasanze of the Mbata, which cemented the alliance between the two Kikongo-speaking peoples. The kingdom reached its peak in the mid-1600s. The Congo Kingdom covered parts of present-day Angola, DR Congo, and the Republic of Congo. According to oral traditions, Nima Nzima of Mpemba Kasi and Insaku Lau of Mbata founded the kingdom at the end of the 14th century. They agreed that the descendant of Nzima will be its king, while those of Insaku Lau will rule Mbata. Subsequently, Lukeni Lwa Nimi, about 1380 to 1420, son of Nimi Nzima, became the first Congo king. He declared in Baza, Congo, located in present-day Angola, capital of the kingdom. When Portuguese sailors arrived off the coast of the Congo Kingdom in 1483 in search of political and commercial alliances, the kingdom was already a powerful and centralized state, which made a strong impression on its visitors. In 1491, the Milanese ambassador in Lisbon compared the capital in Baza, Congo to the prestigious city of Évora, the royal residence in Portugal. Less than 10 years after the first contacts with the Portuguese, King Nziga Nkuo, 1483 to 1509, converted to Catholicism. He then took the name of the Portuguese king, Joab Young. Congolese educated in Europe wrote the letters that the king sent to Portugal. His son, King Afonso I, helped to develop and spread the Christian religion within his kingdom. He sent students to Europe and studied the Christian religion himself. The Congo Kingdom also formed an alliance with the Netherlands through the Dutch West India Company. The latter agreed to attack Angola as part of a joint offensive in 1624. But the death of Pedro II that year and the Portuguese conciliation led Pedro II's son and successor, Garcia I, to renounce attacking Angola. Nevertheless, relations between the Netherlands and Congo were maintained. When the Portuguese armies continued to put pressure on Congo King Garcia I renewed the alliance with the Dutch West India Company. This time the joint invasion took place. A Dutch fleet seized Luanda in 1641, and the Congo armies cooperated with the Dutch forces to drive the Portuguese out of their positions near the city, forcing them to withdraw to their fort at Masangano, more than 100 kilometers from Luanda. In Central Africa, the Atlantic slave trade, which began in the 16th century, ended in 1866. In the 1870s, African communities on the Atlantic coast and along the banks of the Chulango and Congo rivers responded en masse to the demand for raw materials from the industrializing Western countries by turning to the production of palm oil, ivory, rubber, peanuts, and coffee. The Congo chiefs and their allied political factions occupied strategic positions along navigable rivers and major overland trade routes. In order to protect their trade, they carefully controlled the movements of European merchants inland. Barrages and guards with poison arrows ensured compliance with this restriction. In the early 1870s, Germans noted the presence of several toll posts in the interior of Mayombe. Commercial caravans were inspected and taxed there. Until the 1880s, European traders thus bought their goods mainly along the coast and at the mouths of the Congo River, under conditions that were largely determined by Africans. The 1880s marked the beginning of a new era. Congo chiefs were often duped into signing treaties by which they ceded sovereignty to European states in return for a small tribute. After the Berlin Conference of 1885, the interior lands of Africa were conquered and occupied, which was accompanied by extreme violence and resistance. The aim of the European powers was to gain direct control over natural resources, labor, and production. In the Congo Free State of Leopold II, all non-cultivated land was appropriated and then ceded in concessions to colonial companies in order to exploit ivory and rubber in particular. These companies imposed forced labor on the population, often under inhuman conditions. At the beginning of the 20th century, the consolidation of the colonial regime led to the impoverishment of Congo chiefs and traders throughout the vast Congo region. These few elements of the long history of the Congo Kingdom make it possible to deconstruct some stereotypes about the history of the African continent and colonization.